hits the spot every time. Oh, hello there. Now you, correct me if I am wrong, but you look like a traveler who is very much in need of a drink. I thought as much. You have a certain air about you. The air of a person who has been traveling in the desert for a very long time. Probably for the first time, yes? I thought so. If you don't mind me saying, you look as though you got in a fight with the desert. And I am afraid to inform you that the desert won. Well, you are safe here. Whatever terrors or strange things you may have encountered in this beautiful landscape, here they cannot harm you. Please have a seat. Have a drink with me, if you would like. I enjoy meeting new people here, sharing a nice, refreshing beverage, and perhaps some stories as well. That is all right. It is understandable to be wary of some stranger offering you a drink out of nowhere. But in this place, you do not have to worry about anyone's malicious intent. No, here you are safe. Don't you know where you have wandered into? Ah, well, then perhaps you are a weary traveler, but you are actually somewhat of a lucky traveler as well, because you have found the only safe outpost for a very, very long way in any direction. This is Jortan's outpost. No. I am not Jortan. Jortan, he is over there, I believe, by the bar. Yes, that large reptilian man over there. He is a very good man. He is very strong, very fair, and very, well, not fond of things like fighting and manipulation, any of those sort of shady, unpleasant things. He's quite strict about making sure that everyone who comes to his home feels safe from anything outside and anything inside. You will not be harmed while you are here. Jortan will make sure of it, and everyone who comes here knows that. Well, I suppose, except you. Anyway, why don't you sit? I will give you some of my personal stock if you would like. It is a very, very wonderful beverage, especially for in the desert. This is one brewed specially by my people. Have you ever had a reptilian beverage before? Then I think you are in for a treat. You see, it is somewhat similar to what you may call ale, is that right? Yes, ale. It is similar to that, although it has a much more complex flavor. It has the same sort of flavors that you would expect from an ale, with just a subtle heat that comes in at the end. It is a beautiful, beautiful profile of flavors in here. And this particular beverage is brewed with a very, very special magical technique. It means that this beverage will never get warm. No matter what the sun may be doing outside, the contents of this bottle will stay crisp and cool and very, very refreshing. It is a lovely little trick and a heavily guarded secret, so I will not tell you how it is done. I hope you will understand. Good. But if you would like, I would be happy to share some of this with you. Good. I am glad that you can overcome your caution. Caution is good, especially traveling somewhere you are not familiar with. But sometimes it does mean that you miss out on wonderful opportunities. If you would like, I will also pour some of this into my own cup, so you know that it is what I have been drinking, and that it is safe. Alright, here. There. Let me get you a glass over here. We try a little. And if you like it, I will give you more, alright? There. Give that a try if you would like. Oh, and as promised, I could use a bit more anyway. There we go. Do you see how cold and refreshing that is? Even after the heat of the day. Nothing like it from any other people. Not that I know of anyway. And what do you think of that very interesting flavor? Good, good. I am very glad that you like it. Would you like some more? Should not have put the cork back in yet. Here, yes, hand it over. There. We'll pour you a bit more then. You see, it is a very clear liquid, unlike ale, which happens to be more of a golden or an amber color. This one is crystal clear. That was developed, well, a while ago, when this particular beverage was highly, highly sought after. And so the people who brewed it had to brew it in a way that they could disguise it. And so they figured out how to brew it to where it was crystal clear and looked only like water. And then people who were trying to steal it and develop it for themselves were unable to find it. Here you are. Enjoy that lovely beverage. Hopefully that will help to wash away some of this stress from the desert. You look as though you have had many encounters. Well, then that means you have many stories to share, don't you? Nothing like a good beverage and a good story. I have many that I could regale you with as well, the line of work that I am in, if you would like, but after a difficult day, I understand if perhaps you do not feel much like discussing things. A pirate? That's what you think I am. Did you happen to see the sand ship outside? Well, between you and me, I would not throw around a term like a pirate so freely if I were you. You see, unfortunately, pirates have quite a negative connotation with that word. People think of these immoral scoundrels who go around stealing from people and doing all kinds of nasty things just for a quick coin. It is not something that is very nice to be called. Now, luckily you have caught me in a very good mood, but I would not use that term so flippantly with any of these other people that you see sitting over here. You may be met with a bit of animosity. And while of course Jordan does not put up with fighting here, the thing about a desert outpost is that eventually you will have to leave. And a person that you may offend will leave as well. And especially if someone is well versed in traveling in the desert, it is not difficult to track someone, especially someone who is a bit inexperienced. So, for your own good, I would not use that term anymore. Personally, I prefer the term privateer. Yes, I am part of the crew of the ship that is parked out there. A fascinating bit of magic, sand ships, causing a ship so large to almost float across the sand, looking in many ways just like a ship at sea. Another closely guarded secret, I hope you understand. But we, on that ship, we do not like to just go around and take what we wish from anyone. We are honest traders. We just happen to be very good at a number of things, including negotiating. Well, you see, there are quite a few things that the desert can offer that you cannot find anywhere else in this world, at least not that I know of. And if you are a native to the desert and you know where to find these things, well, it can be very lucrative, I suppose. Here, I actually have a few samples of things. You see, I am meeting someone here to perhaps strike up a deal, but he is always late. I always tell him that he needs to leave extra time in case he has to stop somewhere for sandworms. He never listens, he is always late. But I do have some samples to show him. Samples that I acquired at a very fair price from honest people. Now, there are many things that you cannot find in the desert, but growing up here, you learn to be very resourceful with what you do find. And one thing that you can find in abundance, if you know how to look for them, is crystals. This one in particular is very, very popular. It may not be quite so sparkling and eye-catching as other types of crystals, but this one is very, very powerful. You can see it looks as though you are gazing into a large void. This is called obsidian. It is a beautiful stone that can be used for many different things. It is grounding, it is cleansing, it is good at enhancing positive energy. It is a wonderful stone. And then there are some that I have here that are even more rare. This one in particular is highly coveted by many people. This is called a blood sand crystal. You can see the beautiful deep red shade with the flecks of black and silver inside. These crystals are very, very powerful and very, very rare. There are only a few people who know where to find them. I happen to be very good friends with one of them, so I am one of the top sellers when it comes to blood sand crystals. And then, of course, there are just normal sand crystals too. I say just normal, they are still quite powerful, slightly less rare. These do not require such a powerful personal sacrifice from the person who creates them, but they are still incredibly lovely, especially when they catch the light. It almost looks as though someone just plucked out a bit of the desert and froze it in time forever. A beautiful, beautiful stone. Used also for grounding. Also very, very powerful at healing. It is a lovely stone. But there is something that the desert can offer us that is worth even more than crystals. Something that perhaps seems a bit unassuming if you don't know its worth, but the right people will pay a wonderful price for this. This is a beautiful rare and very powerful spice. See, there are many gorgeous spices that the desert offers us that, if you know where to look, can be very, very lucrative to the right buyer. This one is called Grains of Paradise. Lovely name, don't you think? It has a beautiful, rich, warm color to it. It is not actually a grain. It is a very nice name. I think it is more depending on how it tastes. It takes you to a paradise with its beautiful, complex flavor profile. You see, Grains of Paradise, it has hints of many other flavors inside of it. Woody, peppery, and with a warm, subtle heat that comes through. You'll find flavors similar to perhaps ginger, or even citrus or coriander. Each little seed explodes with flavor once you crush it up. Absolutely lovely. And the heat that it has, it builds slowly rather than being a punchy flavor like pepper. It is a flavor adventure in every bite. Perfect for seasoning many, many foods, but it also has other uses as well. You see, many spices have been used by healers for a very long time for different things. Grains of Paradise in particular, this can be made into a medicine that can heal stomach pains and also help to protect your heart. Definitely want to have a healthy heart. And when used correctly, it can also help to heal wounds. Many shamans around here use Grains of Paradise to treat wounds, to help them heal faster, to keep them clean while they heal. And for the right price, I'm willing to part with it. To help those in need, of course. Of course, this is just a very small sample. There is much more on the ship. The heavily guarded ship, I should add. Don't get any ideas. Honestly, you look too tired to try to rob me anywhere. And I would assume that by now you understand that I could probably hold my own against you. Not a threat, just some helpful information. But this is a very, very lovely spice. Although it is not quite as rare as some of the other ones I have. This one in particular is one of my very favorites when it comes to flavors. It is one that is perhaps a bit surprising when you see it, and then when you hear what the flavor is. It may not be what you expected. Here we are. Look at this beautiful reddish orange color. Incredibly warm. It looks like someone has found a way to preserve the sunset in this lovely, lovely tone of a spice. This is called sumac. Now, there are different kinds of sumac. Perhaps you have heard of poison sumac. Now, that one, of course, you would not want to eat. But this is related to that plant, but it is perfectly safe to eat. You see, poison sumac, it creates white berries, whereas this kind of sumac has beautiful red berries that you can crush like that after you dry them. So there is no risk of confusing one for the other. And of course, the people that I get my spices from are some of the finest harvesters in the world. Now, this beautiful color, You might think that it would be incredibly spicy, but I think you would be surprised. The flavor is actually something more reminiscent of a citrusy flavor, like a lemon. It's a bit sweet at first, and then moves into something a bit more sour. And then at the end you get a bit of an acidic, powerful punch. Not spicy per se, but just very strong, tangy, as you move through the flavors. Spices that give you multiple flavors as you taste them, those are my favorites. The ones that those with money like to spend the most on as well. It is a very diverse flavor profile, and it blends exceptionally well with quite a few other flavors as well. You can use it to season your meat, to season vegetable dishes. Even Jordan's daughter, she has a beautiful sumac bread, a savory bread that she makes with this. Absolutely lovely. And of course, this in the right hands can also be made into a very powerful medicine again. It can help to alleviate aches and pains, muscle aches, headaches, things like that. Treat inflammation, puffiness as well. It can be a very powerful and helpful spice in the hands of a shaman. When I am selling to shamans, do not tell other people this. They will think I have gone soft, but when I am selling to shamans, I typically lower my price quite a bit. It is one thing to charge the elite who just wish to impress their friends with their flavors. It is another thing to overcharge someone who wishes to use it to help people. As I said, pirates have such a negative connotation, but that is not it at all. None whatsoever. Not with us, anyway. So that is another lovely one that I like to sell, but I have one that is even more rare. In fact, it is notoriously the most expensive spice in the entire world. I just have a very little sample with me inside. It is enough to prove that I have it. But as I said, it is incredibly expensive, so even this much is worth quite a pretty coin to those who wish to buy. Here. Perhaps a bit of a strange looking spice. Not a seed or something that is ground like the others. This is called saffron. It is a lovely, lovely flavor again. And the reason it is so expensive is because harvesting it is very labor intensive. You see, a saffron, it comes from a very specific flower. And that flower creates tiny little fibers in the center that come out and carry the plant's nectar. So when you are harvesting saffron, the only part you need to harvest for the spice is those tiny little red strands in the middle. That's why it is so expensive. It takes quite a lot of work to harvest. Now, of course, those of us who live in the desert, we do not take anything for granted. And so, the farmers that I work with who grow their saffron, they have, of course, developed other uses for the rest of the plant. Do not worry, it is not wasted. But this is the only part that is turned into a spice. But it is not just how it is grown that makes it so very, very valuable. It is also, again, an incredible incredible flavor. It has a subtle flavor compared to maybe these other ones. It is earthy and sweet at first, with just a tinge of bitterness as you move through the flavor profile. And then that bitterness gives way to a beautiful, delicate, floral flavor with just the tiniest notes of honey. Absolutely lovely. As I said before, a journey in every bite. Perfect for seasoning so many foods, just adding more depth to your dishes. We are on this land, in this world for such a short time. We should really enjoy our food while we are here, shouldn't we? Now, saffron is also nicknamed the sunshine spice, not just because of its lovely, rich, reddish color, but also because it has been known to help brighten your mood. It can reduce feelings of depression and anxiety. It can help to cleanse a spirit of things that may be weighing it down. Yes, it is a very, very powerful spice. No one quite fully understands why, but there have been many, many instances of someone using saffron to help chase away a broken heart or a mind that is always racing. And then, of course, medicinally, it is very, very powerful as well. It can help to treat things like irritability, stress, as well as headaches and pain in the body. Some shamans also use it in a potion that can help to improve your eyesight as well. A very versatile, very, very beautiful spice. And, as I said, highly lucrative. We privateers, we are not so immoral as most people think. We really just have a knowledge that comes with travel that many others don't, and an ability to acquire goods that others would not risk. You see, many places in the desert are home to all kinds of fascinating creatures that to many people might seem a bit intimidating. Perhaps you have come across a few of them. Now, where exactly were you traveling from to get here? Ebonwatch. Then you must have gone through the Sahar Pass, yes? Fascinating. And are you traveling alone? That does not seem wise for someone who does not know the desert. Ah, good, you were traveling with a party. That is very good. But where are they? Oh dear, it is not a good idea to separate a party. No, especially not in a place as difficult as the Sahar Pass. It was most likely an accident that you got separated, yes? Well, I hope you are able to meet up with them again. You know, if you speak with Jordan, if they came through the Sahar Pass, they most likely stopped here as well. He could tell you if they arrived here safe and sound. Now, where are you traveling to, if you don't mind? Ah, the beautiful, sparkling city of Bayreuth. Yes, a hub for all kinds of things. Wonderful art and culture. And quite a few people who have far too much coin. It is one of my favorite places to sell my beautiful goods. Yes, there are many people in Bayreuth who think very highly of their spices. In fact, I am also heading to Bayreuth myself. I have quite a lot of merchandise that will catch me quite a high profit. You would like a ride? That would be a very good idea, especially for someone who does not know their way around the desert. You see, you have traversed through the Sahara Pass, but unfortunately there are still some dangers between here and Beirut. It would most likely be a very good idea for you to find someone to travel with. Unfortunately, my ship is a bit full. You see, as I said, I have quite a lot of merchandise, and of course, my crew. A sand ship is not sailed by one person. It takes a crew to do it. Well, I could perhaps make a little bit of room for you. It wouldn't take up too much space, I suppose. But probably not for nothing. No, you keep your coin. You look as though you probably don't have anything that I would like to trade. However, there are always jobs and things to do on a sand ship as you travel. Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you keep watch as we travel? Can you see very far to see if there are the rumblings of the sandworms anywhere? Anything like that that might be useful on a ship? Yes, I could definitely put you to some use, perhaps. All right. As I said, you caught me in a very, very good mood. I don't see why we couldn't travel together for the remainder of the journey to Bayreuth. Hopefully you will be able to reunite with your party once you are there. You know, I will take you to an inn once we get there. It is actually run by someone that used to be a companion of mine on the ship. She has since then settled down, but she still has quite an adventurous spirit. She is a good soul, and she takes in quite a few people who come from the north and are exhausted and looking for a place to stay. Her inn is my personal favorite in the entire city. Not just because she is my friend, but because for what you get, it is the best price as well. It is not quite so fancy as some of the others you may find, but it is warm, it is clean, it is comfortable, and it is somewhere where you can feel secure, which is a good thing when you are in a new city. Who knows, perhaps your friends will be there as well. Alright, well, if you are willing to help work on the ship as we travel to Bayreuth, then I think I could find some space for you. Your companion? Who? I do not see anyone with you. Oh, you are traveling with a desert goblin. That is highly unusual. Goblins are, well, I suppose there is a negative connotation with goblins as well. But seeing as I do not like being judged by the title of pirate, I am willing to give your friend the benefit of the doubt as well. As long as they do not get into any trouble while they are on the ship. You know, goblins do have incredibly good eyesight. Perhaps they would be willing to be a lookout for a while. You think they would be amenable to that? All right. I think that we could arrange something then. So you and your goblin can come with me on my ship, and we will make the rest of the trip to Baywith together. I hope you have some good stories to tell of past adventures. I do ever so much enjoy stories of adventure. Good, good. Well, we will not be leaving anytime soon. We just got here ourselves a little while ago, so we are here to do some trading and rest and relax a little bit in the solace of Jordan's home. But we will be leaving probably about midday tomorrow, if that is amenable to you. Good, good. Well, why don't you sit to finish your drink and relax a bit, and then get some what looks like well-deserved rest. And I will see you tomorrow. All right, good, yes. Finish up your drink, and then tomorrow, off